Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As many of you may know, my name is Jacob Francois, a photographer living in the Philadelphia area. I hope you like the photos that you just saw. It was taken in my day trip to New York just this past Saturday, the day before the marathon, which I believe was November 1st. The city was booming. As you saw, there was a lot of photos of a lot of people just walking around, roaming around, and just having a good old time. So this video is really a combination of and a continuation of two different videos that I made in the past. One that just came out last week about the Leica SL3, I'm lying, the Q3 43, and an older video about the Lumix S9. These two cameras, at some point in many of my videos, I mentioned how this completed my ADC kit. So the way I use it, first the Leica Q3. I don't know why I'm thinking about the SL so much. The Leica Q3 43 is my photography centric camera, while the S9 is what I carry around if I want to capture some behind the scenes or different video clips while I'm roaming around either Philly, New York, Washington, wherever I am, or on vacation. So the homies Mark and Marcus had a photo walk on November 1st in New York City. It is called the Negroni Photo Walk, I think. I might be botching it. I'm gonna put a link somewhere in the description about the photo walk, and if you guys want to come out next time, I'm probably going to always do the photo walk because I love those guys, and every time I link up with them, it's a good time. Granted, it is annoying because I do live in Philadelphia, but it's worth the trip. So on November 1st, there was a photo walk in the West Village area. Philadelphia is in my brain, whatever. There was a photo walk in the West Village where like-minded individuals, for funny enough, a lot of Leica shooters linked up and basically just roam around the West Village and just capture what they saw. The cool thing about this Negroni walk is the fact that first you start off with a Negroni and you also end with a Negroni. Granted, I don't actually drink Negronis. I'm more of like a whiskey person. I didn't know what was even in a Negroni until I was there. I believe Negroni is made with gin and a bunch of other things, but I prefer whiskey, bourbon. I might even prefer vodka at some points over gin, but there's only one gin place I actually like, and it's in Montreal, which I am going to visit next year. So I'm probably going to bring a few gins back because my wife does love gin, but I prefer whiskey if I have the choice. So anyway, so we roamed around the West Village, and even before getting there November 1st, the night before, I was trying to figure out what am I going to carry. I thought maybe the new Blackmagic Pixis 12K. Then I realized if I bring that beast of a thing, then I need to carry a bigger book bag. And I was getting into the city quite early. The photo walk was around 2 o'clock, I believe. And I didn't really want to carry that beast of a camera from like 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock and then roaming around in the city and then still had to come back home to Philadelphia. Of course, it was just a day trip, so I wanted to keep it light, easy, simple. So I brought the S9 and the Leica Q3 43. I think both these cameras complement each other really well because they both do completely different things. Of course, with the S9, you can still take photos and wonderful videos, of course, but something about it, the experience doesn't really speak to me as much as a photography camera because, it doesn't actually have because it actually doesn't have a lot of features that most photography cameras actually have. So that's why I have the Leica Q3 with me. But the cool thing that I also did during this trip is that recently I talked about in the previous video about the Blackmagic Pixis 12K is that I'm going to adapt my M mount lenses to that camera. And then I realized and I thought about it, well, the Blackmagic is L mount, my S9 is L mount. Why haven't I done the same thing to my S9? So when I was out and about in the city, that's exactly what I did. I hit up my local camera store, which is Unique Photo in Old City, Philadelphia. I'll link their site below. I try to shop local as much as I can. And the number one thing with a Leica lens is the fact that, like an M mount lens, is that their filter threads are super small. Currently, I already have a bunch of VNDs for 67, 87, 95, and maybe 105. I doubt I have a 105 actually, but I don't have this one is a 46. So instead of buying a completely new VND, I decided to just buy step-up rings. And honestly, I don't know why I don't do that more often because it saves a bunch of money than buying more VNDs. I have 4 already, don't need another one just in case for some reason I obviously don't use the M mount lenses that often for professional things. so I don't really need a VND, dedicated VND for them, but I do want to have it just in case I want to use the M mount lenses. So this is the S9 with a M35 Lux. In the video you're about to see is literally, if you haven't seen it already, I'm not sure where I'm placing in the video up, but that video was completely shot with the Lumix S9 with the Leica M mount. I think it is a match made in heaven for the simple fact that it gives me all the characteristics that I potentially might want with a cine lens, but in a smaller, very, very, very smaller, compact, thick shape. And also shooting this lens wide open with a small monitor, it was a challenge, but I did get it done. I think a lot of the videos, that a lot of clips were in focus, and I hope you enjoy them. But like, if you're in the market of potentially finding or looking for an everyday carry camera, either be for photos or videos, some people might opt in to just have one. And I completely understand that, but for me, I like I don't know, something about it. These two just makes more sense for me, and also because they're so small at the end of the day, I could just carry them in multiple different bags. I had a overworth bag with me, and I was able to fit that with a bunch of random external batteries, with, well, additional batteries and external batteries, and also my Nintendo Switch and a whole bunch of other things. So it's light, it's compact. I'm able to hold them both at the same time without having to worry about if I'm going to drop one, have one with the shoulder with a camera strap wrapped around it, another one just in my hand, and it works perfectly fine. But with that being said, I hope you guys found this entertaining. I hope you learned something. And if you're out there in the Philadelphia or New York area and you want to have a photo walk, let me know. The weather's getting colder. As you can see, I'm wearing a sweater, and I prefer to walk in colder weathers. With that being said, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It will really help out. To catch you guys on the next one. Peace.